The alarm rang at 6 a.m., but Daniel didn't move. His eyes were open, staring at the ceiling, but his body felt heavy, like it was chained to the bed. He wasn't tired. He wasn't sick. He just didn't see a reason to get up. The room was silent, but inside his mind, there was a question screaming so loudly that he could not escape it. What am I doing with my life? He was 27 years old, full of potential, full of dreams once, but now he felt empty. Not because he had nothing, but because he was becoming nothing. And the worst part was, he knew it. He knew he was wasting his life, one slow, comfortable, dangerous day at a time. Every morning, his life followed the same pattern. Wake up late. Check his phone. Scroll through social media. Watch other people living their dreams while he stayed in the same place. He saw people his age traveling the world, building businesses, speaking confidently, becoming someone. And he was just watching. Watching their success. Watching their happiness. Watching their life. And slowly, without realizing it, he was watching his own life disappear. Hours passed like seconds. Days passed like hours. Months passed like days. And Daniel kept telling himself the same lie. I still have time. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow. That word was his favorite prison. He said tomorrow when he wanted to learn English. He said tomorrow when he wanted to exercise. He said tomorrow when he wanted to start his YouTube channel. He said tomorrow when he wanted to change his life. But tomorrow never came. It always stayed one day away. And the more he waited, the weaker he became. Not physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. He started losing belief in himself. He started doubting his own power. He started accepting an average life, not because he wanted it, but because he was too afraid to fight for a better one. One night, Daniel was lying in bed again, holding his phone, scrolling without purpose, when suddenly he saw a video of an old man. The man was sitting in a wheelchair. His face was full of wrinkles. His eyes looked tired. But what shocked Daniel was not his age. It was his sadness. The old man said in a weak voice, I wasted my life. I was always waiting for the right time. I was always afraid. And now, my time is over. Daniel felt something break inside his chest. He could not explain it. It was fear. Pure, painful fear. Because for the first time, he saw his future. And it terrified him. That night, Daniel could not sleep. He kept thinking about that old man. He kept thinking about his own life. He realized something that changed him forever. Nobody was coming to save him. Nobody was responsible for his dreams. Nobody was stopping him except himself. His excuses, his fear, his laziness, his comfort zone. He understood a painful truth. Comfort was killing him slowly. The next morning, the alarm rang again at 6 a.m. His mind immediately said, "Sleep more. You can start tomorrow." But this time, something was different. He remembered the old man. He remembered the regret. He remembered the pain in his eyes. And Daniel asked himself one question. Do I want to become that man? His heart answered immediately. No. His body felt heavy. His mind was fighting him. His comfort zone was pulling him back. But for the first time in years, Daniel did something powerful. He sat up. It was a small action. But it was the beginning of a new life. His mind screamed, "This is hard." His soul whispered, "This is growth." He stood up slowly. His legs felt weak. Not because he was physically weak, but because he was not used to discipline. He walked to the mirror. He looked at himself. Really looked at himself. Not his face, but his identity. And he did not like what he saw. He saw fear. He saw doubt. He saw wasted potential. But he also saw something else. A chance. A chance to change. He made a decision. Not a loud decision. Not an emotional decision. A quiet decision. I will not waste my life anymore. The first days were painful. He tried to wake up early every day. His mind hated it. He tried to learn English every day. He made mistakes. He felt embarrassed. He felt slow. He felt stupid. Sometimes he wanted to quit. Sometimes he almost did. But he remembered something important. Pain of discipline is temporary. Pain of regret is permanent. So he continued. One day at a time. One step at a time. He started speaking English alone in his room. At first, his voice was shaking. His sentences were broken. His pronunciation was wrong. But he kept speaking. Because he understood something most people never understand. Action creates confidence. Not thinking. Not watching. Not waiting. Action. Months passed. Something started changing. Not just his English. His personality. His confidence. His identity. He was no longer the boy who watched life. He was becoming the man who lived it. One day, his friend laughed at him. Why are you trying so hard? Relax. Enjoy life. Daniel smiled. because he finally understood something his friend didn't. This was enjoying life, growing, becoming, fighting for his dreams. Most people think comfort is happiness. But comfort is a beautiful prison. It gives you safety, but it steals your future. Daniel chose discomfort. He chose growth. He chose pain. He chose life. Years later, Daniel was standing on a stage. Hundreds of people were listening to him. He was speaking English confidently, clearly, powerfully. But his message was simple. He said, I was not special. I was not talented. I was not lucky. I was just tired of wasting my life. The room was silent. He continued, the biggest enemy of your life is not failure. It is comfort. It is waiting. It is tomorrow. He looked at the audience deeply. And one day, if you are not careful, tomorrow will become never. He paused and said the most important words. Your life is not waiting for you. It is leaving you. Second by second. Day by day. So please, don't waste it. Because the truth is simple. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You don't need more motivation. You need more action. You don't need a different life. You need a different decision. And the most powerful decision you can make is this. I will start now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Because one day, your life will end. And the only question that will matter is this. Did you really live? Or did you only exist? The choice is still yours. But not forever. Because the truth that nobody likes to hear is this, every day you delay, a part of you disappears. Not your body. Not your face. But your fire. Your belief. Your courage. It fades silently, like a candle left alone in a dark room. At first, you don't notice it. You tell yourself you're still young. You tell yourself you still have time. But time is not something you have. Time is something you spend. And whether you invest it or waste it, it never comes back. Daniel understood this now more than ever. After that speech, people clapped for him. They praised him. They called him lucky. They said, you're talented. They said, you're different. But they didn't see the mornings he wanted to quit. They didn't see the nights he felt alone. They didn't see the fear he had to fight every single day. They only saw the result, not the war. And that is the problem with most people. They fall in love with results, but they are not willing to marry the process. One evening, after everything had changed, Daniel went back to his old room. The same room where he once wasted years of his life. The same bed. The same ceiling. The same walls. But he was not the same person. He sat on the bed and looked around. Memories hit him like waves. He remembered the lazy mornings. He remembered the endless scrolling. He remembered the excuses. He remembered the fear. And then he whispered something softly. Thank you. Not because he was proud of that version of himself, but because he defeated him. You see, your greatest victory in life will not be over other people. It will be over yourself. That is the real enemy. And that is the real battle. Most people lose this battle every day. Not because they are weak, but because they never decide to fight. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is a myth. It doesn't exist. There is only one moment that matters. This one. Right now. Daniel's phone vibrated. It was a message from a young boy. Sir, I want to change my life. But I'm scared. What should I do? Daniel looked at the message for a long time. He remembered being that boy. Lost, confused, afraid. He replied with just one sentence. Be more afraid of regret than failure. Because failure hurts for a moment. But regret hurts for a lifetime. Failure teaches you. Regret destroys you. Failure makes you stronger. Regret makes you weaker. Failure means you tried. Regret means you didn't. That night, Daniel went for a walk. The city was alive. But he wondered how many of them were truly alive. And how many were just existing. Walking with no purpose. Working with no passion. Dreaming with no action. Breathing, but not living. Because living is not about survival. Living is about growth. It is about becoming someone your younger self would be proud of. It is about facing fear and moving anyway. It is about creating a story worth telling. Not a life worth escaping. Daniel stopped walking and looked at the sky. For years, the sky had been the same. But he was different. And that's when he realized the most powerful truth of all. Your life changes the moment you change. Not before. Not later. In that exact moment. Change is not something you wait for. Change is something you choose. And the cost of not choosing it is everything. Your dreams. Your potential. Your future. Everything. Years ago, Daniel was invisible. Ignored. Average. But the moment he decided to stop wasting his life, he became unstoppable. Not because he was special, but because he finally decided to act. And that decision is available to you too. Right now. Not when you feel ready. Not when it feels easy. Now. Because readiness is a lie. Nobody is ready. Everyone is scared. Everyone doubts themselves. But winners act anyway. They act with fear. They act with doubt. They act with uncertainty. Because they understand something losers don't. Action creates clarity. Not thinking. Not waiting. Action. One small step. That's all it takes. One small step today. Another tomorrow. And another. And another. Until one day, you look back and you don't recognize the person you used to be. You don't recognize the weak version of you. You don't recognize the scared version of you. Because that person is gone. Replaced by someone stronger. So if you are listening to this, if you are still the person lying in bed, still scrolling, listen carefully. Your future is watching you right now. Your future self is begging you right now. Because one day, it will be too late. And on that day, you will either say, I'm glad I tried, or I wish I had. And that will be the difference between a life of pride and a life of regret. So stand up, take a deep breath, and make the decision. This is the moment your new life begins. If this story touched your heart and you truly want to improve your English and your life, then subscribe to this channel now and become part of this journey. And don't stop here. Click on the video on your screen and continue learning, because your transformation starts with the next story.